Welcome back to the show, everybody. Today we're diving headfirst into the fascinating and slightly terrifying world of military might. Specifically, we're putting the spotlight on two nuclear-armed neighbors, India and Pakistan. Now, these two have a history, right? It's like that couple who broke up but still live across the hall from each other. Things can get a little tense. So we're going to break down the numbers, compare arsenals, and try to figure out who has the bigger stick, militarily speaking, in 2024. We'll be looking at various aspects such as active personnel, those defense budgets that seem to get bigger every year, and of course the big toys, the tanks, the planes, and those missiles that make everyone nervous. We'll try to keep it light, but honestly, folks, with enough firepower between these two countries to turn the planet into a disco ball, it's hard not to feel a little sweat coming on. Let's get into it. First up, let's talk about the actual humans involved in all of this, because, robots haven't quite taken over warfare yet. When it comes to active military personnel, India takes the lead, boasting a whopping 1.45 million soldiers ready to rock and roll. That's like everyone in the city of Philadelphia suddenly signing up for the army. Pakistan, on the other hand, isn't quite as densely populated, but they still have a respectable force of around 640,000 active personnel. Now, numbers aren't everything, as we all learned in high school when the biggest dude in school turned out to be terrified of squirrels. But it's definitely something to consider when comparing these two military giants. All right, let's talk money, because as they say, you can't have a strong military without breaking a few piggy banks, right? India, with its booming economy, has a defense budget of around $73 billion. That's billion with a B. That's a lot of zeros, folks. Pakistan, facing its own economic challenges, allocates a significantly smaller but still not insignificant $10 billion to defense. Now, is India getting 7 times the bang for its buck? That's debatable, and we'll get into the specifics soon enough. But one thing's for sure, both countries are investing heavily in their armed forces. Now, who doesn't love a good tank, right? Those steel beasts are just impressive. And when it comes to tanks, India is rolling in them, with around 4,700 combat tanks at their disposal. Imagine a traffic jam, but instead of angry commuters, it's just tanks as far as the eye can see. Pakistan, not to be outdone, still boasts a respectable force of about 2,600 tanks. Now, the quality and technology of these tanks vary, which we can delve into another time, but purely in terms of numbers, India definitely has the upper hand in the tank department. All right, enough about land, let's take to the skies. India, with its larger military budget, can afford to splurge on some pretty sweet rides, boasting around 2,200 aircraft, including some seriously advanced fighter jets. They've got Russian Sukhois, French Rafales, and even their own homegrown Tejas fighters. Pakistan, meanwhile, has a more modest fleet of around 1,400 aircraft, relying heavily on Chinese JF-17s and those American F-16s, which always seem to be at the center of some international controversy. Again, quality over quantity is a factor here, but India's Air Force definitely has the edge in terms of sheer size and diversity. Now, let's set sail and talk about naval power. India, with its extensive coastline, has always prioritized its navy, and it shows. They've got around 295 ships, including an aircraft carrier, which is basically like a floating city that can launch fighter jets. I mean, come on, that's just showing off. Pakistan's navy is a bit smaller, with about 100 ships, but they've been making strides in recent years to modernize their fleet and enhance their capabilities. Still, when it comes to ruling the waves, India has a clear advantage. Okay, folks, time to address the elephant in the room, or should I say, the nuclear-armed elephant. This is where things get really serious. India is estimated to have around 160 nuclear warheads, while Pakistan has approximately 170. Yes, you heard that right. Both countries have enough firepower to turn the planet into a very sad, very radioactive disco ball. It's a sobering thought, and it's a stark reminder of the stakes involved in this rivalry. Let's hope that cooler heads always prevail, and that these weapons of mass destruction remain just that, weapons that are never used. Of course, no discussion of military might would be complete without mentioning missiles. India has developed an impressive arsenal, including the Agni series, some of which can travel over 5,000 kilometers. That's like throwing a rock from Mumbai and hitting... Well, you get the idea. They also have the BrahMos supersonic cruise missile developed jointly with Russia, which is basically the Usain Bolt of missiles. Pakistan, not to be outdone, has its own missile program, with the Shaheen and Gari series being their pride and joy. They've also made significant advancements in missile technology in recent years, which has, understandably, caused some concern in the region. Finally, let's not forget about the paramilitary forces, those groups operating on the fringes of the traditional military. India has a massive paramilitary force numbering over 2 million personnel. That's larger than the active militaries of many countries. They play a crucial role in internal security and border control. Pakistan's paramilitary forces are smaller, with around 500,000 personnel, but they are no less significant, particularly in the context of the ongoing conflict in the Kashmir region. These forces often operate with a degree of autonomy and can have a significant impact on the overall security landscape. So there you have it, a glimpse into the complex and often concerning world of India-Pakistan military rivalry. As you can see, both countries possess significant military capabilities, and the balance of power remains a delicate dance. It's a situation that demands careful attention and, frankly, a little bit of prayer that cooler heads prevail. Look, it's easy to get caught up in the numbers, the tanks, the planes, the missiles, all that flashy explosive stuff. But at the end of the day, we have to remember that these are real countries with real people, and the consequences of any conflict would be devastating. So let's hope that these two neighbors can find a way to coexist peacefully, because, honestly, the world has enough problems as it is, right? That's our comparison of the military strengths of India and Pakistan as of 2024. Stay tuned for more insightful comparisons and analyses. And as always, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more content. Stay informed, stay curious, and, most importantly, stay safe out there.